episode here on the podcast Talking Female Health with Amy and Lisa, with my amazing co-host Amy Connor and me myself, Lisa Jara. And today we want to have a look at the deeper side of detox, because we both feel that it has become sort of a buzzword, especially in the new year. Everyone is talking about detoxification and detoxing your life. And sometimes we underestimate, when we start detoxing in one area of our life, that it will have an impact on other areas of our life that suddenly start detoxifying in a way. And we can be surprised, or stuff can come up that's uncomfortable to deal with. And we want to briefly, make you aware, raise awareness that detoxification can go very deep. Amy, what are your first thoughts on the deeper side of detox?
Yeah, I'm really excited to start this conversation, Lisa, because as you said, there's so much content and buzzing around the concept of detox. And stepping into this deeper understanding of it is, for me, a really significant piece when you're embarking on or already on board your health and well-being journey. For you to have that awareness of what is happening or potentially happening is a really powerful thing, because I know for myself personally and for clients that I've supported, they've been experiencing detox reactions and not being able to identify it as that. And it's left them feeling like they're almost going backwards on their journey, as opposed to, getting towards their aspiration of being healthier and well. And I think the really big piece when it comes to detoxing in the way that we understand it and the way that we work with it is knowing that it's okay and it's expected that you will get worse before you get better. Because that stuff, that gunk, those toxins, whatever it is that you're holding on to, needs to come out. Whether that be in a physical way, an emotional way, an energetic way, we need to move it through and out of the body and out of your environment. And when you understand that, it makes the process so much easier to handle.
Yeah. And maybe before we really dive in, I want to just hint at, okay, so we've got the detox that's happening on a physical level, on an emotional level, on a mental level, and on a spiritual or energetic level. And why do we have to detox? Because there's toxins in the first place. So on a physical level, that can be the toxins that you take into your body through cleaning products, skincare products, because the way things are made today, the food, antibiotics in meat, pesticides in your vegetables. So even though you can be very mindful already of what you put into your body, the way the food is made today will still bring toxins into your body. So yes, of course, you can try and minimize it, but you will never be able to completely eradicate that out of your environment. That's for sure. That's why it's so important that your internal detoxification system, namely the lymphatic system, works well. Yeah. And we will surely address that in a moment too.
Yeah.
But then we've got emotional toxins. Well, toxins might sound a little drastic, but intense emotions that can be stuck in your cells, in your system, and that may have been there since childhood. from whatever experiences you went through, and they can still be stuck in your system and block something on an emotional level. So that can also be toxic to your body. Then on a mental level, I'd say it's all these beliefs where we beat ourselves up, where we think we are less than, where we make things mean about ourselves, or where people like openly said something to us and we have taken that as the truth. And then on a spiritual, energetic level, what might there be? Can you think of a quick example?
Oh,
Maybe also like beliefs in the sense of faith and what it means to be a human in this world. And because the spiritual energetic layer for me is all about being connected with yourself, but also being connected with something that is greater than yourself. So maybe it's anything that inhibits this your ability to tap into, okay, there is some presence that's
yeah.
holding me, whether you call it God or goddess or universe, that doesn't matter, but something that is bigger than you, that is bigger than all of us, that's holding you. And when you've lost that connection or blocked that connection, that can, of course, also feel toxic because you feel separated. And usually, and I've seen that in my clients as well, when you start to detox on a physical level, which is, I think, what most of the buzz is about, is about like shampoo and
Teas.
movement, teas,
Yeah.
exactly. And when you start doing that and the toxins start to get out and leave your body, there is more space and more capacity for you to process the deeper stuff that is underneath that. So then come all these intense emotions, difficult emotions. Then you run up against societal expectations of how you should or shouldn't express these emotions or what that might mean about you. And so it's this whole cascade of things that start happening once you start at any point in the detox journey.
Yeah. Yeah, completely. And I think there's something that I want to bring up here as well is that detox is a really good place to start and to not be fearful of, because something that I've experienced and witnessed myself is individuals are spending a lot of time, energy, and resources on supplements and, health products, protocols to help them get to where they want to be, but they're completely ignoring the need for the body to remove the toxins that it's already holding.
Mm.
And, one of the things that I'm saying continually is this piece of getting waste out before we can let the body receive the nutrients that it needs. So I really want to like put the spotlight on how good detox can be and how needed and essential it is when it comes to your health and well-being journey, even though it can be quite scary when you're stepping into it and potentially, opening up to these releases. That for a lot of the time when I speak to women, they're almost trapped in their experience because they're not addressing the detox piece fully, and they're looking for all of the other things, and there's so much available, in terms of like nutrition and hormonal balancing support. I know that my social media feed is full of it at the moment, but having that understanding that if you're not allowing the body to get the waste out and the toxins out, then all of the good stuff that you're putting in isn't getting its fullest potential. So you could feel trapped in the fact that you're doing all the right things, giving your body all the right things that it needs, but you're not seeing any improvement. And that could be because the detox piece needs to happen in order for the body to be able to receive that goodness and work with it.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, I love the metaphor that we learned in our certification training at Flourish, is this image of like a fish tank where the water is already like polluted and you can't really see through it. You can put in the best fish food you want. The environment is polluted, and you first have to clear the drainage so the water becomes clean, and then the nutrients can be absorbed so much better than they ever could in that other environment.
Yeah, it's a really powerful image, that one. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why sometimes it can happen that like people prescribe liver detox, and then while liver detox is an amazing tool to do, if you start there and you haven't made sure that the drainage way, so basically your gut is working right, your lymphatic system is working well. If that isn't happening, you will release all the toxins from the liver into your system, basically into this polluted water. So there is more pollution, and it can't get out because the drainage pathway isn't clear and you can't get it out of the body.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to have a good sequence and first work on elimination.
Yes.
And clear those pathways before you actually start doing anything like a liver detox, so that you don't have a big reaction.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because there's so much about liver detox as well. Like, you know, as I said, there's so much information coming into my view, and it's really important for us that you do this in the right sequence, as Lisa's just said, because we want you to trust the process and understand the process. And I think this is a really big piece for a lot of people. They don't understand that process. So they go in at one point when they haven't necessarily done the prep work and can have an adverse reaction. So they step back from it completely. So it's really important that you find somebody that you can trust to help guide you through that process, because it is a process. It's not an overnight thing. It's something that you keep coming back to. We've talked about this in previous podcasts. Like, there's no linear process here. As Lisa said at the beginning, as sad as the reality is, we cannot escape toxins in our modern environment. So you can do a really beautiful detox protocol, but toxins are still going to find their way into your system. So it's something that once you've educated yourself and you have this awareness of what happens in your body, what messages the body gives that it needs some support in detoxification, that you can come back to it again and repeat the process as and when you need it, to ensure that, you know, you're living your best life moving forward in terms of not holding on to too many toxins.
Yeah, I just want to jump in saying that, like, because you mentioned we so easily do it in a sequence that's not working. It's not your fault, right? Like, we don't get enough education around this, and I do believe that many of those providers of supplements and detox products and all of this, they may have your best interest at heart, but they themselves might not be educated on this because people aren't talking about it. That's why we are making it so clear. And not to say there's like a right way to detox, yet to me it makes sense to first get the waste out, clean the drainage, get the waste out before you put any, or before you concentrate more on putting the good nutrients in, just from a logical standpoint.
Yeah. Completely.
And what I've seen in my clients is, once we start with these things like lymphatic work, all of the other things start showing up, and they are very happy to have someone by their side to help them make sense of the experience. As Amy shared, often first we get worse. So for example, you have reactions like slight fever or nausea, all of these symptoms that are uncomfortable, where you might think, oh, I'm doing something wrong here. No, you're not. It's your body having a reaction while it's getting all the toxins out of your body, or like a majority of the toxins.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which again, it creates space and capacity for you to go a level deeper and then process emotions that may have been stuck, which allows you then in turn go a level deeper and look at the deeper beliefs that you carry and release some of those that don't feel good in your body.
Yeah.
So I believe that the teacher appears when the student is ready. So the teacher being your own body, being your own emotions, being your own belief system, and you have to start somewhere. And as Amy shared, it's a cyclical process. You can start anywhere and it will work, and you can come back around to another layer another time.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to expand on that piece that you were talking about there, Lisa, about, these individuals, these companies that are selling and sharing these products, I also believe that they're doing so with the best intentions and with the knowledge that they have. And it's just reminded me actually of a conversation that I had with my hairdresser a few weeks ago about, we were talking about menopause, managing menopause, and I was explaining about holistic ways of looking at menopause and supporting the body. And she told me that she'd been to see an acupuncturist and hated it because she felt the pain of every needle. She said it was such an distressing experience for her that she wouldn't go back. And then she was saying that her friend had been to see a reflexologist and she'd had a similar situation. The practice itself, the procedure, it's not the right word, but the reflexology was lovely, but then she felt horrendous afterwards and really didn't feel well. And that's an example of how these practices are working, especially with the reflexology example. That practice was doing what it's designed to do. It was moving things out of the body. Yet that individual wasn't given an explanation that could happen. They weren't given the resources, the expectation that this could happen for them. And that although it is, a potentially scary thing to manage, it is part of what we're looking for when we step into this work. So it really made me think about the importance of understanding the process of detoxification and being prepared for it. And also going back to this piece about the acupuncture experience, having a relaxed state, like checking in with the nervous system before and reassuring yourself and your body and your environment that this new thing that you're stepping into is safe. And that it's going to give, it might be a bit unusual, it might be something a bit different to what you've done before. Personally, I've never had acupuncture, but I'd really like to try it. But I can imagine the concept of someone putting needles in you is quite, a strange one to be relaxed about. But getting into that state of mind of knowing and feeling and being relaxed, feeling safe and ready to receive the treatment. And it just
the point that you mentioned earlier, sorry to interrupt, but like this emotional security of feeling held by the person. That comes to mind because I have had acupuncture because I suffered from excruciating menstrual pain during my bleeds. And she was trained in traditional Chinese medicine, and I received my herbs that I had to drink every day. And then every, I don't know, 3 weeks or so, I would go there, lie down on the thingy, and then she would put the needles into my different spots, and then I would lie there for 20 minutes under a heating lamp, and that was it. And I found that experience really strange. I mean, the needles and that weren't so bad. That was okay. It didn't hurt, fortunately, but like I didn't feel anything happening. Like neither in the process nor afterwards, nor over the half year or more that I went there. And from like in retrospect, I can say that I also didn't feel emotionally held by her in any way. I was just put on the couch,
Yeah.
put the needles in, let her lie there for 20 minutes, and then go.
Yeah.
And it didn't help my menstrual pain either. So at some point I stopped it, and going through our certification training, and the training that we did in women's health, I can now say that I'm in a much better state than I was after seeing an acupuncturist for over half a year, which isn't to say that woman didn't know her stuff. She definitely did. And also that what would have been needed for me personally would have been this emotional holding, maybe a little bit of talking, or just being present with that person. She would always leave the room and possibly put needles into another person while I was lying there on the couch.
Yeah.
And for me, that didn't do the trick,
Yeah.
because there was more behind my menstrual pain than
Yeah.
just this physical aspect.
Yeah. And I think as well, like what's coming up for me as you speak is the need for connection, not only to your own body, to our own bodies and to connect in and feel what's happening, but also that connection and that trust piece of the individual who's guiding you through it. And it's such an intimate thing to step into somebody's space and allow them to come into contact with your body. And I've recently started going to yoga classes, and it dawns on me like how intimate it feels to share a space with other people and do this practice of yoga. And the place that I'm currently going to do it is our local leisure centre, where it's not an actual yoga studio. But for me, like afterwards, I really seek like communicative connection with these other women and men that I'm sharing the space with. And I think it'd be really nice to have the opportunity to sit and have a little chat and maybe have a cup of tea and just get that connection piece going. So and when you're in a space like a reflexologist and acupuncturist, like I remember going for my first reflexology session, and we spent half an hour talking. She made me a cup of tea. She had a foot bath ready for me to soak my feet in with all lovely essential oils in and petals. It was gorgeous. And we just sat and talked. And I already knew the lady already, but it just made me completely forget about my day prior to that session and be really present. And it was so beautiful. And I just think that piece of connection, just sitting down, talking, and then allowing her, because this was right at the beginning of my health journey where I was really, really anxious to have people touch me, even if it was my feet. Then letting her touch my body just felt so much safer. So much.
I recently learned about this philosophical thing that's called like counter space. It's where you enter a space from like the normal world and it makes you forget time. And this is exactly what you just described. This reflexology created. And like that's what I aim to create with my clients too. And I bet you do too, because we need this healing space. It has a very very special and potent frequency, energy, vibration.
Yeah.
It's even hard to put into words, but it makes you feel like, wow, only 1 hour has passed. Oh my God,
Yeah.
so much has happened in 1
Yeah.
hour.
Yeah, completely. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really like that. And that's exactly what I seek for my clients as well. And like having that experience, however many years ago it was, I'm so grateful for that
Yeah.
individual for letting me experience that for myself. So I know how I want my clients to feel
Yeah.
when they're in a space with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's actually, for me, that was my cosmetician. How do you say? Like when I wanted some skin treatment done, and I researched for who would use like natural products and all of that. And I went to that lady, and I was prepared because I had experienced that before. Like, okay, you lie down, then they start putting something on your face, then they start getting all the gunky stuff out, and then you lie there to rest for a moment, and then
Yeah.
that's it. And she started talking with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, interesting. And it's exactly that, the way she made me feel. And I still recommend her to people who are in the area where I live, which is in Germany.
Yeah.
But I still recommend her because it's just so amazing to be in her presence, and the calm she exudes, and the excitement about her job, her products, and that she's allowed to do this and
Yeah.
give this experience to a person. That's her everything, and you can feel it. And that
Yeah.
is definitely also my inspiration.
I love that. Yeah. Oh, makes me feel all good. Yeah.
Yeah. And it helps with the detoxification also, because when you in those spaces, you can relax fully, like on a nervous system, deep nervous system level. Your whole body relaxes, which means your cells open, your body opens, the blood flow is enhanced, the lymphatic flow is enhanced, the muscles relax. And that's the only state true healing can happen in. And whether that's healing on a physical, emotional, mental, or on an energetic level, that doesn't matter, but that's the space that we need for healing to happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for detoxification to work, and to work its wonders, because as you say, it can work wonders. And sometimes that's all that's needed. You don't even need to put more stuff in afterwards. But just getting that out creates already so much spaciousness.
Oh,
So I hope that we've inspired you, dear listener or dear watcher, to go into your next detox or cleanse with a slightly different, or maybe more aware attitude. No, that's not a good word, but
mindset.
come from that mindset, come from that angle of knowing that you're doing something really good for yourself, and also that there may be some deeper processes that you are now initiating, and that's nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be feared. It will all serve you on your journey of becoming more of who you are. Because for me, in essence, that's what healing is about, is becoming more of who you are, what you've buried often underneath all these layers of societal conditioning, and excavating that and uncovering your true self.
Yeah.
Any closing words from your side?
I just hope that the conversation has opened up some deeper thought processes for you and deeper understanding around detox, because it is a wonderful thing. And I know that it can be potentially a daunting experience, but I just want to warmly welcome you to explore it in a deeper level. Yeah.
And if I may, I want to share that I'm hosting a class in roughly 4 weeks' time, end of February 28th, on your lymphatic system and how you can initiate and reactivate the lymphatic flow, which is the main system. Maybe our next episode should be about the lymphatic
I was just going
system
to say that.
itself.
I think it deserves its own episode, definitely.
It does. So stay tuned for the next episode. But like this workshop is to help you both understand, get in touch with your lymphatic system, and know how to tend to it on a regular basis and get the lymph flowing in a way so that your body can detoxify on a regular level, because that's what our amazing bodies can do. They usually do that every day. Like the gut after every meal cleanses itself. How amazing is that? So if you are interested in learning more about that, you will find the information on how to register below this video or this podcast episode.
Yeah. Such a beautiful invitation, Lisa.
Necessary. Yes. And so stay tuned, and in 2 weeks' time, we will talk more about the lymphatic system.
Have a great day.
Bye.